A lot of people think that when you walk into my office, I have confidential documents or whatever it may be, all declassified. But I had confidential documents spread out all over my floor. And like a slob, like I'm sitting there reading these documents all day long, or somebody else would be. It's so dishonest when you look at it. And so people were concerned because they said, gee, you know, that's a strange scene. You look at the floor and you see documents, right? They have cover sheets of documents. No, they put them there, John, and they put them there in a messy fashion. And then they took a picture and they released it to the public. And this is what we're dealing with these people. They raided a house of a president, a former president, and setting a whole new standard for what's going to come later, I would imagine. You know, we're like a third world nation, and they did it for political purposes. This is all done for political purposes. It has nothing to do with anything else. There was no secret. Did you see the pictures? They were standing outside of the White House, literally on the sidewalk, waiting for trucks to come in to take it. In other words, it's not like this was some sinister plot. They have pictures of guys standing outside. The box is literally outside. The sun is pouring down, and they're waiting for a truck. And then they have pictures putting them on the truck. There's nothing secret about it. There didn't have to be anything secret. And all declassified. But when you look at what they've done, and you look at even something like this, when you look at what they're doing to our country, it's hard to believe. And the people aren't going to stand for it, John. They're not standing for it. They're really angry. They're upset. They're sad. But they're really angry.
I don't get it. I truly don't. Does Trump really, truly believe that his supporters are dumb enough that they'll think that the issue at hand here is that the DOJ laid out the stolen classified documents in a way that was messy, and not the fact that he had stolen classified documents? I've used this analogy before, but when a drug dealer gets busted and law enforcement lays out the hall for a photo, no one believes that the cops found it that way, nor does anyone care, because the photo isn't the issue, the illicit drugs are the issue. Just like how now, no one gives a shit about how the DOJ laid out the stolen classified documents. The issue, very obviously, was the fact that he stole them. And just in case you thought this was a fluke, that it was just some defense Trump mounted for himself on the fly, nope, here's his lawyer on national TV making the exact same argument.
Yeah, nowhere. What's happened is now they've put this picture out so that you would assume, and I am somebody who has been, and the press loves to talk about this, especially today. I'm somebody that has been in his office. I've seen it. This is not the way his office looks. They give you this appearance that you walk in and there's these top secret documents just strewn about. A. B. They don't understand. Something could be marked top secret, could be marked classified. The Presidential Records Act, he would have said this is declassified. It doesn't get a new marking all the time. He's left the office. It is a complete public spectacle, and I'm not really going to stand by it anymore. You know, I personally have gotten intimidated. People have tried to intimidate me. It's not going to work. You can't just put a picture like this and say, look.
Did the FBI do that, or was
yeah.
that the way that room looked before they went in there? Do you have any firsthand knowledge?
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the press today. I do have firsthand knowledge, as you know. I have been down there. I'm down there frequently. I have never seen that. I have never, ever seen that. That is not the way his office looks. Anybody that knows President Trump's office, he has guests frequently there. It's just a joke. They literally must have gone in and taken out documents they wanted, or cover letters, as it is, and put it about so that the public believes that this is top secret documents that were on his floor. It's ridiculous. I can tell you personally, It's ridiculous. I've never seen that.
So again, let's be honest here. Literally no one thinks that these documents were just found by the FBI on the floor this way, nor would they care even if they were found on the floor this way. The issue isn't how they were stored, it's that they were there in the first place. It's not suddenly not illegal to have stolen top secret classified documents just because they were neatly stored in a cabinet. The second they left the White House and Trump refused to return them and then didn't comply with the subpoena, it was a crime. It is as simple as that. And any suggestion otherwise is purposeful purposeful deception. And of course, the Trump team knows that, and of course, the Trump team doesn't believe what they themselves are saying, but at this point, knowing that they'll never admit fault, they need to issue some defense. The fact that it's the most pathetic one we could possibly imagine, to the point of being insulting to their own audience, is just a testament to the fact that they really do have Trump dead to rights here. We've got irrefutable evidence that he stole classified documents from the White House. Documents which, if stolen by any other person on the planet, would land them right in prison. They are well aware of all of that, which is why they're flailing so desperately for an excuse. What I find so ironic, too, is that here's Alina Habba on national TV demeaning herself for Donald Trump in the immediate wake of her colleague, another Trump lawyer, Christina Bobb, having signed a statement attesting that all of the sensitive material Trump had taken from the White House had been returned. First of all, clearly that was not the case, considering, well, you've seen the photos. And second of all, now she has legal exposure for signing her name on a document on Trump's behalf that ultimately turned out to be a lie. So there's a chance now that she'll be punished, joining the likes of Michael Cohen, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, Lynn Wood, John Eastman, and Jeffrey Clark, all of whom have been either sent to prison, disbarred, or are being investigated. So if you were wondering how it's possible that the former president of the United States can't manage to find any lawyers who aren't awful, it's because all the good ones probably want to stay out of prison. Of course, the real reason for all of this is that it's a continuation of the big lie. Trump and his team know that there are plenty of his supporters out there who will believe him no matter what he says. And so if he can convince enough of them that somehow the issue at hand is that the documents were sloppily laid out, and not the fact that the documents were stolen, then maybe he can create enough political pressure to get away with it. Maybe he can incite those people to take up arms or threaten violence again, just like they did on January 6th. And that's the thing. When people like Susan Collins suggest openly that Trump will learn his lesson, you would think that woman doesn't have functioning eyeballs. Donald Trump didn't learn his lesson. He won't ever learn his lesson. Everything looks like a nail, and all he's got is a hammer. He will lie, cheat, and steal, knowing full well that he can manipulate a base that will believe every word that leaves his lips. That's not a bug, it's a feature. It's the whole game. He won't change because that's not something he wants to do. It's his sole weapon, and he's not going to relinquish it all because we tell him he should. And anyone who hasn't recognized that by now is being purposefully naive. Which is why Trump has to be held accountable. Because if he's not, if his threats of violence work, then his exact strategy of lying, cheating, and stealing will be validated. His actions on January 6th will be validated. We will forever live in a country where people know that all they have to do is lie freely and then threaten violence, and suddenly everyone else will back down. January 6th won't have been a one-off, it'll have been a blueprint. So I hope that prosecutors and investigators are seeing this behavior, seeing his efforts to double and triple down on his illegal actions, and recognize that a failure to hold him to account would be viewed by Trump as encouragement to continue doing more of the same. That's the consequence of having a two-tier justice system. The question in front of prosecutors, in front of investigators, in front of Merrick Garland right now is whether we're going to live in a country where no one is above the law or not. If so, then now's the time to prove it. Before you go, couple things. First, if you want to support my work, the best way is to subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. And second, if you want to see and hear more from me, check out my website, briantylercohen.com. That way you can get links to my podcast, merchandise, ways to donate to voting rights organizations, and so much more. The thumbnail is also right here on the screen, so go check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching.